end on that last video and when it did. I was trying to get those relays up, but now I guess we can do the relays base and recover the last two Kerbals. Yeah, this is going to be a fun little video. Hopefully I build a rocket large enough and powerful enough to actually play and fly. So plan it today is to get all my Kerbals. Recover the last two Kerbals. Get my female scientist because that's the last thing I need for the entire female team. So now I have two pilots of each gender, one engineer of each gender, and one scientist of each gender. And then I'll have two more, and I'll have one more that I don't know yet. But basically, I'll have an entire male crew, an entire female crew. Honestly, I don't really segregate. I'm not going to segregate them to that, but I like flying. You know, it's just one of those things. I don't think anything's better than the other, but yeah, I feel like I'm digging my own grave right now. Anyway, heading away from that, plan today is to finish out all the contracts we had, and then once the contracts are all done, we will, yeah, we'll end it there, and probably open up more contracts and stuff. Yeah, we'll figure out what's going on, but we will be ending it on whatever contracts we have. Alright, so let's go ahead and come in here. Should be able to open satellite because it was bugging out and we saved it. So it should be open just it should be called satellite as the actual craft name. And oh no, it didn't save. Oh, let's see. I gotta make sure my Kerbals are all alive. I didn't lose anyone anywhere. So, going to my... Alright, so those two are still there. Oh, I'm getting another pilot too. I could have just looked here to figure out what I'm getting. Another male pilot. So I'll have 3 male pilots, which is weird because I don't normally get pilots like that. We'll figure it all out. But yeah, let's see. So we have everybody still. We just haven't. We have everyone. We just don't have everyone. I don't know how to say that. We don't have the ship I created. So we're going to recreate that ship again. Except this time I am going to do it this way. And create the ship first. Hold on. Let's go ahead and see if I have the actual subassembly saved. Yes, I do, so I don't need to create the ship all over again. Okay, so I have the subassembly saved, so I can just click on it. And voila. Subassembly. And then I can come here. I can add a decoupler right here. Where are you? Where are you? By function. Coupling. Add this decoupler right here. Facing towards the part I want it to go away from. And then we will subassembly again. This relay network right there. Add a decoupler. Oh, sorry. Nope, I want it up here. And then add this relay network in one last time. So basically, each one of these costs 83,423 divided by 3 approximately. 83,420 3, 4, 23 divided by 3. 27,000 each to launch up individually, plus the rocket. Which, if I build a just regular rocket underneath here, I should have enough to. I should have enough to not worry about it. Oh, and that's what I forgot. I forgot something off these things. Function. I'm gonna need my engines, and they're gonna need to be these little guys right here. And there. And there. Alright. So now my relay network, this right here is going to be relay for, I could add smaller dishes on 2 of these because you don't need this big of a dish for Minmus and the Mun. But I like having gigantic relays just because there's no way I'm not going to be able to communicate with stuff with these gigantic relays. If you notice, it decouples right here. So, yeah, all of the decoupling is going to go right there. These little things are going to be, and then I have a probe core. Should have a probe core on each of these to be able to deorbit. I don't think I do. I don't think I have a probe core on all these things to do the deorbit. Wow, that is an undersight. Looks like I'll just have these little things as debris and then be able to just demolish them. Whatever. It'll work. It'll work. It'll be cheaper on my end because, yeah. Let's strut these things together. Again, we want to make sure these ejection forces are set to 0. We will struts. And strutted. This will make it more stable in the long run. And the craft's more stable and all this other fun stuff. So everything's gonna get strutted together. Like that. We're gonna add coupling. We'll also strut. Well, no, let's continue strutting. We're also gonna strut these engines here. These to the satellite dishes. I'm not gonna be able to do that, so this little structural guy, yeah, I actually want the small one, is going to make it so that the struts go out. Just, can I not strut to that? Am I gonna have to do this? I'm gonna have to do that. And then I'm going to come up here and go to these little ones. And do that. But now all of these things are strutted together, so it shouldn't have that wobble effect that they normally do. So if I didn't do this, all these parts would wobble left and right and just make a mess out of everything. But now we will be able to basically set this up, and it will be able to go to all. So we got our Minmus, Mun, and Kerbin networks, which doesn't matter. They're all the same, so it doesn't really matter which one I choose. We will go here. Do I already have coupling on here? No, I do not. Coupling. We're gonna have this decoupler right there. We are going to have our command pod. Alright, we don't need this up anymore because I don't need to worry about the sub-assemblies. our 1-3 command pod. We are going to strut to that command pod the to the command pod is going to be strutted these satellites. And this way, again, preventing wobble effect. You want a lot of struts when you're doing this. We will have, because we're just rescuing Kerbals with this lower stage. So right here is going to be our rescue Kerbals, and we're going to set up the relay as well together. So we're rebuilding this ship, even though I thought that this would be quicker because the ship should have been mostly built already. We're going to put on here command and control this big boy. So if I wanted to, I could add this right here, and that will allow me to have my prograde retro, no matter what Kerbal is flying it, whether it's a scientist or a pilot, it'll allow prograde, retrograde, and it will allow normal, anti-normal, radial in, radial out, stability assistance, and towards target, away from target, and hold maneuver. Or I can just get my Kerbals leveled up one level, which will be done in this episode, and that will happen. Or I will try to get it done. I'm not going to say it will be done because I never know if the game's going to crash or some stuff like that. But anyway, so we have that there. We're going to want our heat shield. Thermal. We want our big heat shield. I like to set 2 of these heat shields up, even though I don't need it. I am going to have utility. Oh no, where is this decoupler at? Right there. Put that decoupler down here after everything else. Let's reroute this. So now everything is routed to that command pod, and now we will do utility for parachutes. So I want my drogue chutes again, because these drogue chutes are actually pretty handy. Where are my parachutes at? Yeah, I don't want you up there. Drogue chutes, and then I will add another one above that for my regular parachutes. Like that. Oh, where did you guys go now? I'm gonna have to be doing this staging horribly like that. It's gonna be a pain to do this. So I want this stuff right here to be completely encased now. So what I'm going to do is add another coupling here. Not that big one. That big one. And then I'm going to add let's zoom out so we can actually build this shroud. So this is a total weight of, that we're trying to send up, payload, 38 tons. And honestly, I would not be able to do this because we have 255 for max parts without having this upgraded. So you're going to need your vehicle assembly building fully upgraded. Let's see. We will go payload, this big shroud right here. That should cover everything up. And this is important because I want it aerodynamically sound. like that. So now this is an aerodynamic shroud. So where are you? You're up there. Why are you up there? Place you there. This right here, I'm going to bound to an action group because I want action group 1. Actually, yeah, I want 1 to be these solar panels. Toggle. And the reason why is that will allow me to toggle all these solar panels out at the same time, no matter what ship I have. So when these things leave the and become their own separate ships and everything, they're going to be toggled solar panels. And I can just press 1 once these things are separated, and then these things will toggle their solar panels, extend their solar panels, or whatever I want it to do. Alright. So all the solar panel toggling is on custom 1 for the... It's very important to remember it's for the whatchamacallit, for the satellites is 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 and potentially 3 if I... One and 2 is going to be for the satellites themselves. And then 3 and on are going to be for the lower ship. So, something I can do is now structural. Come over here. Go to structural. These guys again. Like I said, so strutting this all together is actually very important, as it allows you to prevent the wobble factor. And if you don't have all these struts are your best friend when it comes to wobble factor. Well, I guess that's it. I could... So normally if you have a larger fairing down here, you'd be able to hit to the bottom of the fairing. But it's not going to let me do that. So I'm going to do this then. Alright. Now all these relays are set up. Shouldn't have much wobble factor up here because of how massive this all is. And then you'll see we are going to have a setup of a fuel tank. Go with this one right here. Not that one right there, that was too small. That one right there, yeah, that's the one I wanted. Let's set its color to orange, and I like the orange color better. Have our engine there. I don't want the interior, I want 374 for the Bobcat, 64 and 250, or 63 and 375. Let's go with this one right here. Okay, and that is going to be all we have for our lower stage, or our whatnot stage. I don't know exactly how much Delta V this is gonna give based off the weight, but it should. So like if I were to, I'm not even gonna do it. That should be plenty just for this capsule and this to get to wherever I'm going. Should be plenty. Should. Alright, I'm gonna leave it as is. I'm gonna keep on, I'm gonna upgrade to the larger tank. Because I always go should, and then I don't, actually calculate anything. And then, so I can even go one larger than that, but this right here should. I'm not going to ever say will, but my initial should always is under what I need it to be. Wait, let's do this right here and get Valentina to fly this thing. Coupling. That guy. And then we're going to use fuel tanks, the large boys, the big boys. 2 of these, because I guarantee you I'm going to need a lot of it. Alright, good. Guarantee you I'm going to need a lot of it. Engines. The big, powerful engines. Yeah, liquid. These bore engines. That's 2,100. What's the TWR to that? Which is going to be low as all hell, I can already tell. 1 point, actually, that's good. 1.06 TWR, so I'm above 1 at 2,400 meters. So let's go ahead and set up. Do I want to do an onion or asparagus staging with these? I'm gonna do a asparagus setup. Yeah. So we'll keep our TWR higher the higher we go. And let's add these command points in here. Because this thing does have gimbal. And the highest gimbal is let's see, what are these things? This gimbal. Oh, so this has liquid fuel and oxidizer in it. 1.5, which we've had better. There's more gimbal, but this has a lot more power, so it doesn't really need that much force. Command and control. See, we're at 251. We might actually be able to do this without having a fully upgraded building. We'll see. 252, 34. No, we won't. We'll be just over. I mean, this rocket as it is would be able to, but I don't think I have enough Delta V to do anything right now, basically, and get where I want it to go. So, structural, let's add these points right there. Like that. Let's add them right here. What this is going to do is it's going to increase points. So adding these outward like that is going to increase a lot of drag, but it will also make it so that the craft is more stable and won't wobble as much, having everything strutted together like this. That was too long for those struts. Sometimes inducing a little more drag is better because of the fact that you are making the craft more stable. The more stable your craft is, the easier it'll fly. Less delta V you'll use in correcting the orientation of the craft, and more just for the ascent. And correcting orientation versus just the ascent is more important. Just the ascent is more important, so even if it has a little more drag. So you keep on trying to correct the orientation of the craft, then you'll have issues. That's where a lot of people run into these issues, is they keep on trying to... They have massive crafts that can fly, have a lot of thrust, but they wobble, so they don't really do much. And I only needed one of these at a time. I didn't need all three, but I wanted all three. Okay, so 26 minutes in to the video, and we're still designing this craft. Again, I'm going to want coupling, because I want a onion style setup. I like onion style a lot better than asparagus style. That's just who I am. Set up in 2, and basically we're not going to need all that extra fuel tanks here, because we still have in this stage still a positive TWR above 1, which is what you want. So we shouldn't have any issues with this stage by itself accelerating. But I'm going to add more engines to it. So these are going to be your boosters right here, like that, and delta V, hide all, show all. And if I do this, we have 1.43, 2.15, which is better, which I could honestly, with this right here, at 16, oh, let me add my command and control and struts and stuff, and then aerodynamic nose cone, because I want the big boy nose cone. It's 2.14, which if we add more boosters, like here, like that, add everything to its own staging group. Now we'll have a ridiculously high, or decently high, TWR at 2.70, and yeah. Now if we do this, so this is going to be the one of the more complicated rockets we make. So we're gonna have these guys right here. So these two will be feeding directly into the engine. So fuel lines. These guys will be feeding directly into this engine. You will feed directly into this engine. You always want to go from the part you're feeding from to the part you're feeding to when you're doing these. If you do it the opposite way, it will make I did that backwards. Alright, and then these guys right here will be fueling into these guys right here. So now what's going to happen is these 5 engines are going to start off, give me 550 meters per second, and then these 2 engines out here are going to separate, give me another 754 meters per second, and then these 2 will separate, still giving me 2,000. So that's without the fuel tanks, I had almost 2,500, and with this I have 3,100. So just adding these fuel lines in this setup gave me an extra 600 units of Delta V. And then we'll do our structural, because I don't like things spinning around and not spinning right and all that other fun stuff. Alright, and then comes the last part. So this right here should get me to orbit, and then should be able to separate my payloads. I forget that it's not set to 4, so I have to do this as well to get them connected. So this will make it so that even though I have my gimbal, if I didn't have these strutted, basically these points would rotate on here, and having these strutted together makes it so that they are separated, or won't rotate at this point, because we got 2 points of attachment instead of just 1. Actually, we got 4 points of attachment, because we got 1, 2, through 1, 3, and then 4. So instead of having just 1, it's 4 now. What? Oh yeah, so engine suggestion before use, consumer receiving limited monitor propellant, decouplers detached wrong, and command module facing the wrong way. No, that's actually the way I wanted the stuff to be facing. So 304 parts, and that does not even include the solar panels I want to put on here. Electrical, let's give some batteries on this upper stage. Some batteries on this upper stage. We'll do 8 to 6. And then we'll do these gigantic solar panels on this upper stage with 6. Okay, and then what we'll do is action groups. So 1 and 2 are the solar panels for the up there. 3 is going to be to deploy the air shield. So basically what I'm going to be doing is 3 and 4 for the main ship. So once I get into space, I'll deploy 3, and then I'll deploy 4 for these rockets, those. That will deploy with this rocket, which we'll see how much Delta V we actually have. Okay, yeah, so that will deploy with that rocket, and then we'll have that guy right there is deploying above that, and then that guy right there. So what I'm going to want to do now is take this guy and swap that to there. So basically now this guy right here will deploy after this one deploys, which is what I want. Yeah, so now my staging is correct. I can save this as my satellite ejector, because that way I don't have to keep rebuilding this exact rocket. And this will also have more Delta V in it to how do you spell satellite? I asked this before in the last video, but I don't remember. Oh, and I did actually post the satellite ejector, the website I used for my reconnaissance orbit in the last episode. I will do the same. Not back. Reconnaissance orbit calculator. one T, two L's, and an E. Alright, so satellites will save this craft. Make sure we only have our one Kerbal in here, because we gotta rescue 2 more Kerbals. And that was an oversight on my last video. I tried to rescue 1 more Kerbal than I actually had. Build. We'll move these parts down so that they are below and make the craft more stable. And same with these parts right here. We'll move down. That way they are more stable. And voila! We now have our craft. And let's save it again. Save craft. Only have the 1 Kerbal on here. Let's go ahead and launch this. Behemoth. Taking about 1/3 of our funds away with this. And we're not going to be getting much back either, because we should get... Actually, we should get about as much back as this craft costs, just by doing the 2 Mun rescues. Yeah. So these 2 Mun rescues are actually paying for putting a satellite network into Kerbin's orbit, which is kind of what you want to do. You want to make sure your networks are, or your contracts are paying for other missions as well, not just the mission that they are. Which is why you want to do multiple contracts at the same time. It's going to take a while to load this because it is almost 300 parts, and this is going to be a laggy, long, slow, even though it's whatchamacallit, yeah. Even though it's got a lot of power, it's going to take a long time to launch because my PlayStation's computing power is not the greatest. I do plan on getting the PS5 when it comes out, but that is for another day. And now we will go ahead and launch this. Look at that acceleration. We don't want it that high. We want it a little bit lower. And this is a massive, massive craft, as you can tell. I'm having issues keeping it under control, actually, already. I'm gonna want it like that. Massive top-heavy craft. It's going up. It's wanting to wiggle and wobble. Look at that deflection. I'm going way too fast for this height. So you notice the thing glitched out and my parts are out of the fairing, which is not what I wanted. And that is why not load save, revert flight to vehicle assembly. So there's another way I can do this. And it's probably the better way to do this. I wanted to do it that way because it would create a fairing with less issues, I'd say. I'm going to have to redo all the staging and everything with this. But my fairings were not the greatest in there. I'm I'm trying to figure out a way that I'd be able to strut the inside of the fairings so that they are all strutted to the inside of the fairings, so that doesn't happen. But I don't know. And like I said before, the fairing itself, it's kind of hard to strut stuff to that fairing unless the fairing itself is bigger than the actual part. That's the biggest fairing I have. So I might have to completely remove that fairing in order to get it to work. Might be able to right click here or square here. If I turn the interstage nodes on, will that work? We'll see. And if not, all I'm going to do is remove this fairing, strut strut this lower stage to this upper stage right here, and then call that a day. And then probably put an aerodynamic nose cone up here, so like a decoupler with a going up and then aerodynamic nose cone. So if this doesn't work, then yeah, that's what we'll have to do. Building tall rockets is painful. So yeah, basically my it's gonna take a long time to load this again. Basically my I didn't have enough support between the fairing and the parts above the fairing, which is why it was doing that. Now doing that was interstage nodes. Hopefully that's what people do to make it structurally sound. I'm not 100% sure. If someone watching this knows how to do that, please let me know. But again, we're 42 minutes into the video and we're launching the craft. We're trying to launch a craft. Because it takes a while to build these crafts. Like, it's not, you're not gonna just create them randomly. So, and be successful. I doubt you're gonna throw together a craft in, 5 minutes that can go to the anywhere above, Kerbin's orbit, honestly, and successfully make it there. But we will see. We will see. There's so if this doesn't work, I have that one, and if that doesn't work, I have another method I can do. SAS on. You on. Alright, let's try to go straight up for a while. Massive, massive, massive thing. And no, that did not work, so revert flight. Vehicle assembly. I'll remove the fairing completely. Fairings are very good if you know how to use them properly. I don't know how to use them properly. I don't know how to get the structural struts to connect to the outside of the fairings, or their connection points, or anything like that. Like, I can never figure out how some of the stuff. Now, taking this fairing off and doing what I'm about to do will add a little bit of delta V, because the fairing is ridiculously heavy, and what I'm about to do will remove that weight and then add a little bit of weight. So let's take a look at what our lower stage delta V is. Hopefully we don't have to redo all that staging work and make sure everything still works. But we are going to make sure everything's in the right order. But we'll figure it out. We're on this journey together. Man. This is why Kerbal Space Program videos that are like 30 minutes long, that are going to the MUN even, are ridiculously shorter. Alright, so we have those 6 engines, then 2, then 2, then that, then that, then that one, then that one. Yeah, that's right order. And then the drogue chutes, then the parachutes. And I don't really care about these up here, because once I get this into orbit, it will be, and I will coupling. So what I'm about to do is this decoupler right there. Okay, so that decoupler is right there. So we're going to take you and put you all the way at the top. All the way at the top, because I don't care about you right now. I can set to Action Group 3 that decoupler, which was the fairing before. The reason why I'm setting it to Action Group 3 is that way it will decouple when I want it to. I really don't care about when the rest of the stuff decouples. Coming up here, we're going to go structural. We will go, not that one, this one right here. Take this craft right here, the entire craft, lower it down some so I can actually work on the top. So I don't know if you noticed, I use more than the craft actually allows for height for the building, for up and down. That's just manipulating up here. So you can make it infinitely tall if you keep on rerouting the part to the top. You can make an infinitely tall craft. And structural, this, then we'll do that. And I realized I don't have it set to 3, so click on that, triangle to get to here, set it to 3, no, I said set it to 3, triangle, down, set it to 3. There we go. And then we have our big old nose cone, aerodynamic nose cone. And this should give us a little more aerodynamicness. And let's do coupling again. For this guy, and get little nose cone. So now where are you 3 at? You're down here somewhere, I can guarantee you. There you are. So click on it, click and hold, right stick to go up and down this staging. I know I probably didn't say it before, but yeah, that's what right stick does, it goes up and down this staging. Add these to Action Group 3 as well. Is to decouple these. Build aerodynamics. Those 3 nose cones right there. set that to that. And then we can entrance command and control structural. I want these little points. Right there. Set that. Set that to that. Now, done right, hopefully. This massively strutted together part should have at least some aerodynamics to it. And should be capable of getting to orbit. So 28, 130, 132, 33, 34. So I gained about 100 meters per delta V by doing this versus doing the whatchamacallit, versus doing the, oh, what am I thinking, the fairing. So it gives me another 100 units. So let's go ahead and launch this ginormous craft. It's gonna take forever to load again. Hopefully it is more capable of flying without wobbling around. It should be, because I have these things strutted like none other. But super large crafts always have issues because they only have like one control point normally, or one structural point connecting, and then it likes to wobble. If I did this right now, though, I should have a decently aerodynamic ascent profile because I have those aerodynamic nose cones up there, so it's not going to create too much drag. And I will have a whatchamacallit, not wobble factor. So I don't know if you noticed it, but when we did have the wobble factor, it was all the things inside the fairing were wobbling, but they weren't wobbling with each other. So that is because they were all strutted together properly. Now I added extra struts from the area that was inside the fairing to outside the fairing. That should, you know, be good. Now normally you would think that the stuff strutted to the fairing is going to be, you know, or inside the fairing is going to be strutted to the fairing so it doesn't wobble, but it doesn't always work that way. And this is a massively tall craft too, so that was a lot of using the fairing and hoping it would work. Oh man, gigantic craft. Absolutely ginormous. But this right here should get most of our contracts done, minus all the bases we accepted, which I'm going to build the base itself. I'm going to try to cheat and see if I can get an encounter with a flyby of Eve as a craft itself as well as a capability. But let's see this. 106 meters tall. So I don't know if you know that, but that is 3.4 times 106 times 3.4 is 360 feet tall. This is tall. This is ridiculously tall. Ridiculously tall for a rocket. 360 feet. And let's go. So should be easier to control now because I have all those control points. Everything should be strutted together properly. And I am still wobbling up at the top. Why am I wobbling at the top still? Alright, so you know what? I'm going to do this the next method, which will work. Put a lot of design into this craft, and I messed it up by this. And I'm not going to be able to use a fairing for this next design, just because of how it actually is. And I'm going to hate that because I want to use a fairing. I really do. But I can't. So, yeah. Oh, man. We'll figure it out. We'll get this done. This is an hour of me making mistakes and mistakes and mistakes over and over and over again. We'll figure this out. We'll get it to work. No doubt about it. I will get this massive relay system set up so that I can do this. Alright, so the next method, this one didn't work. It's going to require me to redo all of this up here. All of it is going to get redone. So take you, and goodbye to you. Delete it all. Don't crash the game. I think the game crashed. I think I crashed the game. We'll see. Or it might just be trying to delete the 1 million parts. We'll figure it out. I'll hear it either go or not go. And there it went. Okay, so now the next thing I can do is take these guys right here, and we're going to move these things to right there and set it in setup 2. Take these guys right here and set them right here and a set of 2 that way. That way we're not blocking this port right here. And we'll add a under utility, which by the way, this stage right here, as is in a vacuum now, is going to have 3,000 meters per second delta V. Utility, the big old parachute will go right here. Set you, make sure you're in the right one. Yep, you are. And now what we're going to do is this. We will coupling. We will set this guy right here in a set of 3 right there, and then we will we will over here up here, that's where I wanted to go. Subassemblies, the 63 part satellite. If I can get it to, there we go. So I'm gonna have to do this with docking ports. I don't like using docking ports for this. Actions. Not actions. Function. Coupling. Regular docking ports, because I like the... Oh, these are the juniors. I don't want the juniors. Regular docking ports. And then regular docking ports again. And then these things. Massive things. Absolutely massive. Look at that. Oh yeah, and I forgot these things don't have engines on it right now. Oh man. And then what I can do is actually what I'm going to do is take these things out and delete them. And I'm going to edit them. I'm going to save this craft as satellites. I'm going to open up this little satellite itself and edit it. And then we will be able to make this work. I will make this work. This will work. And I will get this satellite relay up. All the way left. Come on, go all the way left. Don't crash the game. Don't crash the game. Don't crash the game. Alright, I will get this satellite network relay and rescue these Kerbins in the same launch. Because that's what I want to do. Alright. You guys over here. Delete that. Completely. Waiting on it to delete. Did it delete? It deleted. Okay. So we'll save this as satellites. Save craft. We will new craft. We're not actually creating another craft. We're just using this craft. It's a new craft. So once this craft gets brought out, 89 parts with 5,100 meters per second in whatnot. All right, subassemblies. Bring out this satellite network subassembly. There we go. Do that. Add an aerodynamic nose cone to that. Aerodynamics. Add aerodynamic nose cone to this thing. This one. Just so that it is more aerodynamic. And then come down here. Coupling. Add a regular docking port right there. And a set of 1. Reroute the entire craft to that docking port. Go back to subassemblies. So adding 1 extra part. Yes, overwrite it. Alright. Or 2 extra parts to it. Open craft. Don't save. To satellites. I didn't. Oh, and oh well. My Mun and Minimus lander didn't get saved. Happens. And then what we can do is come up here. Let's get those rockets out of the... No. Get those rockets out of the ground. Yeah. Take relay network. And on the side of the docking ports, there we go, that way. And then this thing wants to try to freak out because it's loading 3 of these things in together. Oh, man. Right there. 3 sets of docking ports. It's gonna take a while. Right there, should be right. 3 sets of docking ports, right there. Look at that. This is the third. This is the method that's probably going to work, honestly. Action groups. I wanted 1 and 2 to be these. Toggle solar panels. Toggle solar panels and toggle solar panels, toggle. Now this will work. I know this will work. Toggle. I want the solar panel. Toggle, 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 and toggle. And then 2 is going to be these. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Hello? Sorry about that. I'm getting the motor rebuilt in my engine, and so in my I don't know if you wanted to hear all that phone call from the motor getting built stuff about how much it's going to cost and everything. Not too terribly much, honestly, but it is a decent amount. But anyway, so coming back to the ship, so now I have all these things here. Now what I have to do to prevent it from wobbling again is to strut everything. So we'll strut these guys right here, to these guys right here. We'll strut these guys right here, these guys right here. We'll strut these guys right here to these guys right here. We'll strut this is a massive ship. These guys to these guys. And then we'll strut these guys to these guys. And hopefully, honestly, should be in space by that time. And then we will add engines on here because we don't have the proper engines on here. Add these little terriers. Which I should have added when I was editing the satellite relay network. Where are you? No. Add the terriers to here. Alright. So those are terriers, and those are terriers. And send you guys all up here to the parachute stage, because I won't be using you guys in the parachute stage. You guys up to the parachute stage as well. And the last three, you guys are going to go up to the parachute stage as well. Just because. Now, what I am going to do is structural. Strutting this stuff up a whole hell of a lot. From here to there. Then from here to there. And that should, in theory, be enough strutting to do this. And I still have, in this lower stage, I should have a decent enough TWR to get wherever I want to go with all three of these engine stages. So we'll show all. TWR is all above 1. What I want to see. Alright. So crew, because we only want one crew member in here. That's going to be Valentina. She will be flying this vessel. And we will launch. So basically what I'm going to be doing is the motherships of these craft are all going to have enough fuel to get to Mun and Midmiss. I'm going to leave them in a low Kerbin orbit, and then I will go rescue, come back, recover, and then swap to the each mothership respectively, get them to their, send the first one to Kerbin synchronous, then Mun, then Minmus. And Mun's not going to be synchronous orbit. Mun is going to be a specific orbit. But I can't do a synchronous orbit with Mun because it's outside of its sphere of influence. But yeah, having a synchronous orbit is only really important in if you're playing with only not extra ground stations, so just with the Kerbal Space Center as your only ground station you can use. And that is where you would want a Kerbal synchronous orbit. It doesn't really matter as long as you have a synchronous orbit high enough to cover all areas.